So practice area 4, train and grow volunteers. So this phase helps volunteers find their place in your organisation so they can contribute more productively and contribute in a way that's meaningful for them. So knowing how the organisation works and where they fit within that ecosystem is essential. And I want you to think about your own organisation and how this relates to your current reality. So the principles are: volunteering activities require training and appropriate resourcing by the organisation. And the second principle, volunteers are empowered to work independently, grow, make their own decisions, and resolve issues relating to their work. I think there's kind of 3 key areas that I'd like to focus on and want you to think about. And those are skill enhancement, continuous development, and individual training plans. Volunteers need to be able to contribute meaningfully to them. So this will help you retain your volunteers for as long as you need them, whilst also giving them the skill enhancement that they might need. So as the volunteer life cycle shows, there are opportunities for continuous development throughout the time that volunteers are with you. So do you have the resource and capacity to offer individual training plans? That's kind of the dream for a lot of organisations, but you need the resource and the time to do that. It doesn't need to cost lots of money, but have a think about that. So this could be as simple as tracking volunteers through the onboarding process in a spreadsheet, including their training, helping you to see who has been trained in what and when. What needs to be trained? I think it's really useful when you're a volunteer involving organisation to have a look at kind of everything that needs to be done, every little gap that you have in your organisation, and thinking about, is that something a volunteer could do? So analyse the role and analyse the role description to see where those gaps are and if you can actually train volunteers on that. I'm a firm believer that with the right resourced volunteer, there's nothing a volunteer can't do. So really think about if you need help in a particular area, if that's something you could create a volunteer role for, and to train a volunteer to do that as well. And then moving on to creating a training plan. So it can be really simple. It could be what, when, how, and keeping a list of who's done what. So you can track them over time. So create a plan that steps out what, how, and when training happens. It could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, or if you have the resource, it could be as complex as using an online platform like a learning management system, an LMS, which is something you can rent. So identify who should and can. Should and can are 2 different things. There's some compulsory training for all volunteers, I would imagine, in different organisations. I know my own volunteering, I had to be police checked and I had to have training and working safely with someone with a disability, but you all have your own reality about that. I'm a big fan of using buddies. I think that's really nice, especially when someone's a new volunteer, to help them find their feet, especially if you're offering quite a complex role. So use diverse formats. I'm a big fan of group learning, but it's well recognised as a really efficient way to train a real mixture of people with different learning styles. And remembering as well, going back to the State of Volunteering report, we know that 83% of people are choosing to volunteer because they want to give back to the community, but 19%, the second reason why they're choosing to volunteer, is to make friends. So that's a really good opportunity for you to leverage. Thinking about your group learning is a really good opportunity for your volunteers to mix and get to know each other. And think about development pathways. So could you have some sort of progression map? Again, it could be quite simple on a spreadsheet. So a volunteer can use that to identify what they could learn next. So it's really nice if they have some sort of pathway when you're training or when you're inducting them, so you can give them something to say, this is what we're going to train you in the first 3 months, this is what we're going to train you in the next 6 months and the next year, whatever that looks like. And also it's really important to step back from that to create that expectation as well. Social learning is super important, and it encourages that community building through shared experiences. Even if it's a topic you're not particularly familiar with, you'd be surprised when you speak to people, it sparks ideas and it helps create connections that you might not have thought of before.